In today's video, I'm going to be unboxing and giving my 1-year review of the Apple TV 4K. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Ronan, I make vlogs and I make product and tech reviews. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing the Apple TV 4K, and this is the latest version of the Apple TV 4K that launched almost a year ago. There are currently two models of the Apple TV 4K available for purchase. The base model, which comes with 64 gigs of storage, retails for €169. And then the model I'll be reviewing comes with 128 gigabytes of storage and Ethernet connectivity, and it retails for €189. We've been using ours daily for almost a year now, so stay tuned to the end of the video for a comprehensive 12-month review. But first, we're going to take a trip back to last year to past Ronan, who's going to unbox the Apple TV 4K and run through some of the key specs. So, like pretty much all Apple products at the moment, the box is cardboard and fully recyclable. It's not covered in any kind of plastic or anything like that. You just have a little pull tab here and a little pull tab here, which enables you to open this up. So, I'm just going to pull these away. So, first thing we have here is the brand new Apple TV. And this is really, really nice. So it's kind of like a matte black finish. And there's like a sticker on the bottom here, and there's a sticker around the sides here just to kind of keep it all tidy and protected. So if we pull this off, okay, cool. So it's kind of like a matte black finish on top with like a polished Apple logo. And then around the sides, it's actually a glossy black finish. So it's really nice, very similar to my old Apple TV. And then the base, again, kind of matte black, but sort of a rubberized or like soft texture. And that just means that it'll like sit on the TV stand and not be too slidey. So you have the input for your power. So your power cable goes in here. Your HDMI cable goes in here. And then there is a slot here for an Ethernet cable. So we could actually plug it directly into our router so that we wouldn't need Wi-Fi to get our broadband into the new Apple TV. And then just with the way we have our living room set up, our router is actually in the living room, but it's kind of far from the TV, so we won't be connecting the new Apple TV to the router with an Ethernet connection. We will just be using good old Wi-Fi, and we haven't had any issues with our Wi-Fi in the past, really, with streaming to the Apple TV, so I don't imagine we'll have any difficulty with this new one either. So now it's time to see what else we have in the box. So if I just lift this out, okay, so here we have our new remote control. It comes again in paper, so I'm just gonna like rip this off. And yeah, so again, the remote control is like a silver metal. It's a really nice finish. It feels quite heavy. It's much heavier than the remote that we had before. And like all Apple products, it just feels like it's a really premium piece of hardware. On the back, there's like a black Apple logo, and then it's a silver finish. And this is the Siri enabled remote, which means that you can actually use Siri to command your TV. So there's a little button just on the side here, and that enables Siri on the remote. When you hold that down or press that in, there's a little microphone here, so you can talk to Siri and Siri will come on. There's a power button here. You have 4 directional tabs, which are in this circle on the outside, and then in the center of the circle there's a select button. This looks like a back button. We have our volume up, we have our volume down, we have play and pause, and we have a mute button. So there's an awful lot more buttons on this remote than there was on my previous remote. The previous remote had a battery and you had to change that like once every, well, couple of years or whatever. The remote here though actually has a rechargeable battery, which is great. So I don't need to worry about ever having to buy batteries for this remote. I just need to make sure that it's charged. And if it's anything like the previous remote, I probably won't need to charge it all that often, but it looks like it has a USB Type-C port on the back here. It just means that I can use any of my existing USB-C cables to charge up this remote. And then on this side of the box, we just have our power cable. This end goes into the wall and it's the plug, and this end just plugs into the Apple TV. So yeah, that is pretty much that. And then right at the very bottom of the box, we have what looks like some instructions. So that is everything that comes in the box with the Apple TV 4K. So the only thing left to do now is to go and set all this up. Okay, so the plan is to just have the Apple TV sitting under the TV like this. So we just plug the HDMI cable into the HDMI port and the power cable into the power port, and that can just sit there. And that's pretty much where we had the old Apple TV. Now I just need to plug this in, and now we just wait and see what happens. Things are happening. I'm just going to go through the setup on the TV with the remote. Once you plug in the Apple TV, it comes on automatically and takes you through the entire setup process. The login menus are all really straightforward and you just have to follow the process. We tried to use the inbuilt system to set up the color profiles using the iPhone. We found this process to be a bit finicky and it was hard to get our phones to see what the TV was displaying. But in the end, we tried turning off the lights and we did manage to get this to work. So the Apple TV is all connected and set up. We had some difficulties initially when we set it up the TV. The picture quality wasn't great. Everything looked really like faded and washed out. That was because the settings on the TV were all over the place because I had changed them a lot when we got the TV first. But we've reset the TV settings to its default, and when we were looking through the settings we also changed the setting in the Apple TV. So we changed it from HDR to SDR and everything looks incredible using the Apple TV now. And so far as well, the other thing is the Apple TV has kind of replaced all of the other things that we were using through the TV. So like the Netflix app, the YouTube app, all of those things we have running through the Apple TV now. Another really cool feature that we've discovered is that the TV remote seems to actually be compatible with the Apple TV as well. So I can control the Apple TV using the TV's native remote. So we still have kind of a lot to learn about the Apple TV. So I'm going to go and use it for a while, and I will check back in with you after we've kind of really gotten to grips with the Apple TV. So that's what the Apple TV is like out of the box and what the setup process is like. Now I'm going to run through my thoughts on it, having used it for almost a year. First of all, the Apple TV is amazing. It has completely replaced all of the smart functionality on our TV. So we have a Sony Bravia TV and it came with YouTube and Netflix inbuilt, but those apps were always pretty buggy and glitchy right from the start. We also had the second generation Apple TV for over 10 years and it was dying. So we probably would have tried to struggle on a little bit longer with our old Apple TV, except we couldn't download any new apps to that device. So it means that like if we wanted to say watch Disney Plus or something like that, we had to launch the app on our phones or our iPads and then cast it to the TV, which really wasn't an ideal setup, and to be perfectly honest, never worked as seamlessly or as well as you would have expected. We also use Now TV a lot to watch Formula 1, and before we got the new Apple TV, we had a very glitchy Now TV stick, which has since been retired. The ability to download media apps from the App Store has been the single greatest aspect of this product. We now have one remote and one box that does everything for us with regards to our streaming services. And on picture quality, the Apple TV is amazing. I am really impressed with just how everything looks. Another great feature is if you have AirPods, you can connect them to your Apple TV. And what's great about this is obviously if you're watching something and you need to be quiet, you can watch whatever program you're watching and you don't have to have the sound turned down really low. But actually one of the reasons that I like to use it is the speakers on our TV aren't that great. So essentially what happens when we're watching TV, and it happens particularly with say movies or something like that, is that the dialogue seems to be really, really quiet and the music and sound effects seem to be really, really loud. So you're constantly adjusting the volume if you want to hear what people are saying, but you don't want to get completely blasted out of it when like an explosion happens or when the epic music comes in really loudly or whatever. Or if you want to be able to hear all of the dialogue in a movie and you don't want to be adjusting the levels, it means that you just have to have the volume up really, really high, which is kind of annoying when you're in the room, and it's also really annoying for everybody else in the house. But when you connect the AirPods to the Apple TV, the audio mix is much better, and it's like it's configured for the AirPods then, which means that when you're watching a movie, you get the dialogue, the music, the sound effects, they're all at the correct levels that they should be, which means that you just get a much more immersive experience, and it's just a much more enjoyable way to watch movies on our TV. Also, if you subscribe to Apple Arcade, you can actually pair a Bluetooth controller to your Apple TV. So let's say like a PS5 controller or something like that. You can actually pair that to your Apple TV and use it as a games console. And just a reminder about the price, the Apple TV 4K costs 169 for the base model, and it's 189 euro for the version with Ethernet connectivity and 128 gigabytes of storage, which is what we have here. And considering the amount of use we get from this, I think it's amazing value, and we don't even use it for gaming. Given how seamlessly it's consolidated all of the various different streaming services we use into one place, I cannot recommend the Apple TV 4K enough. And that's especially if you're looking to upgrade from an older model or from a different type of streaming service. Okay, so that is all I have to say about the Apple TV 4K. So I'm gonna leave this video here. I hope you've liked it. If you do, please give it a big thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video.